Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Value of Relationships. I am sitting here with Miss Brittany.
Hola.
And we are going to be discussing a chapter in my book entitled Business and Pleasure. So, Brittany is a social media expert. Am I correct?
Correct.
What do you want to tell people about yourself? I mean, just to expound on what I just said.
Yeah, so I coach women specifically online how to start and grow online businesses. And I own the Sisters in Christ mobile app specifically for women of Christ, pretty much.
Okay. So, Miss Brittany, how old are you?
22.
22. Are you in a relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these questions are kind of leading towards the business and pleasure. Because I know there's people that's viewing, and there's young ladies, and it's an inspiration to see a young person, 22 years old, doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So I want them to be aware of this. What's one of the most challenging situations you had to face in business as a business owner?
I would say starting out, just trying to figure out how everything works.
Okay.
So like all of my businesses were just based off of trial and error. So like I didn't have like a mentor or like college didn't teach me anything towards my businesses. Being an entrepreneur online, trying to figure things out on my own, separating my personal brand with the business, trying to figure out customer service online. So a lot of customers think your DMs is the way to, get in contact with me. Just different things like that. Marketing the business, building the following, understanding my personal brand to be able to promote my business, being a Christian and then trying to fit in, attracting new customers. So, yeah.
So my question is, and the question I think everybody always wants to know is, do you believe that you can mix business and pleasure? Well, before you answer that question, let's do this. Let's define pleasure, because everybody sees pleasure different. Mm-hmm. Pleasure can just be something that brings you gratification, something that, it's like a euphoria for you, something that makes you happy. Pleasure can be something that's just satisfying you. It can be gratification. It can be something that makes you happy. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily have to be sex. But do you believe that you can mix business and pleasure together?
No. So I tried it. It did not work.
Okay, now when you're saying you tried it, it didn't work, because we just described what pleasure is. Mm-hmm. So my definition, your definition may be different. So you're saying you tried it, didn't work. Can you kind of expound on it?
So I had a couples channel. So I'm a YouTuber. Okay. I have my own separate channel. So then I decided to create a new channel with the person I was dating. So now we were both YouTubers.
Okay.
So I brought him into my world. I shared my passion with him. We worked together. We made a lot of money. And it failed, pretty much.
Why do you believe it failed?
Because in the beginning it was a lot of fun. So we both were working together. We were bonding. I didn't have to separate my time. So now instead of spending quality time and working, I was doing it at the same time. So now it's like when I spend quality time with you, I don't want to talk about work, or I don't want to work. I just want to spend time. But because we work together, it just failed.
So now prior to you, I guess, bringing him into the arena of working with him, you were successful already, right?
Right.
Work?
On my own.
So when he came into the picture, did the hours that you put into work start to dwindle? Or did you work harder?
Harder.
You worked even harder?
More. I actually worked more.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you didn't find that being healthy even though you were working harder? It's just that you didn't have the time with him.
Right, because I didn't want to talk about work every day. I didn't want to work every day. I kind of missed the feeling of working, stop working, and then just spending my time with him outside of work. But now, since we work together, it's kind of like we don't have that cutoff time where it's just us. It's just me talking to a coworker, it felt like.
Okay, so you said it didn't work. Do you believe it can work, or how should I say this? It could have worked, but you just didn't know how to properly balance it?
Possibly.
Or were there other scenarios that we don't know about that kind of made it where, like, I can't work with you? Even though we're working hard, it's just this one thing over here. Was it really the time, or was it something else?
It was that, and then the other thing, which was also important to me, I was a little more ambitious.
Okay.
So, like, even though we were working together, initially it was my passion. So our level of, like, commitment towards the work, or, like, the quality of work we put in was different because it wasn't his dream, it wasn't his passion. He just did it because it's something I love to do.
Can I just go right? Because we on the value of relationships, so we're going to just get up in this.
Sure.
So you guys were, you guys were intimate.
Right.
You guys were intimate. Mm-hmm. Was that at the beginning of the business, or like the middle, the end, or was it even prior to the business? Prior to him coming in?
Prior.
Okay. Do you think that affected it anyway? Like in terms of like, okay, you guys are working together, but there's that one little area right there,
right.
That's a different type of intimacy. It's not like we just hold hands, we just kiss. Like we don't engage with each other. So maybe when I'm working, I might not be thinking about it, but do you think that affected it in any type of way?
It could have.
Okay. When you say could, what do you mean?
Because when we started working together, we stopped being intimate. Because I didn't have time for that. I just wanted to work.
Ah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. Because you're working and now you're like, man, I don't really have time to be as intimate, so that's when the mixing business with pleasure kind of gets like,
right.
I don't think this is going to work. So my digital question card, let me get to my next question. Being that we know like both of our perspectives on business and pleasure and mixing the two, so from your perspective as a social media expert, do you ever teach your clients about the balance of business and pleasure? Oh, hold on a second. I see you got your girlfriend over here, and she's just chilling. So I'm about to bring her into this scenario, into this interview right here. So let's go on and make a seat right on over here. So we good? Mm-hmm. So the question, do you ever teach any of your clients about the balance of business and pleasure and how it may affect their business? Being that you've experienced it, you're dealing with a lot of people who want to do YouTubes. They want to be social media experts, and they may have some type of pleasure. And the pleasure doesn't have to be a man all the time. It may be they're spending too much time doing something else while they're supposed to be focusing on the YouTube. But since we're on the man vein, we can stay there. So they may be like, well, I got a man that I'm dating, and we're really involved. And do you teach them about like, hey, you may want to balance this correctly because here's what I experienced?
Definitely. So I like to teach the pros and cons. So the pros are your ratings and your numbers always go up. So for an example, the Kardashians.
Okay.
We watch the Kardashians because we are in love with the one person on the show. The more people on the show, the more chances the viewer has of falling in love with one or two personalities. So you may not like Kim, but you may like Kylie.
What's another con?
I
like the pro you gave though. The numbers going up because when you think about it, people like to see relationships.
Yep.
So whether it's like you and your homegirls or you and your another guy,
they love it.
This is what the meat and bones. I want to know about this. So what's another con that you would say?
Another con I would say is privacy. So when you share, in my opinion, me being a YouTuber. Anyone I date, anyone I hang out with, they're online, they're in my videos, they don't have a choice.
Okay.
But that comes with the person wanting privacy, the person not wanting to be so exposed, not wanting to be recorded. There's a lot of times...
hold on. Mm-hmm. So just like what you're saying, that con is the privacy, right?
Right.
They don't want to be recorded. Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that can cause issues in the relationship? Because you might be like, man, you my boo. Why you don't want to be in my video?
So when you're a YouTuber or influencer, you're on social media, the people closest to you are part of that. And most of the time, they don't sign up for that. So, like for an example, now I'm dating a nurse. And so he is not into social media at all. His job is like extremely serious and to the point. And bringing him on my platform, he's not used to like people coming up to him, knowing his first name, like little girls asking, if he's my boyfriend, and it gets...
Is it causing any type of tension?
Well, yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. So let's talk about that part, that privacy, and I'm going to bring you into this, Jasmine, because if you got a significant other, just like you just said, most people are like, well, I don't do the YouTube thing, I don't do the Instagram thing, I don't want to be in that. This is business and pleasure again, because the pleasure of this is that I want to have my significant other in the video. That's a pleasure for me. And they're like, well, I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be, don't bring the camera around me. And you're like, well, man, this is something I'm passionate about. I want you in the video. And then they don't want to get in it, like you said, so then it causes this tension because you're trying to mix the two. And maybe we're not doing it right. Hold on. You got your friend here. I ain't forget about friend. I'm not friendly. What's your name?
Jasmine.
Jasmine. So what is it that you do, Jasmine?
So I am a recent college graduate. I just graduated in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm applying to law school, and law school will start next August. So I have about 6-7 months to myself. So I really wanted to do something that I was passionate about, and I've been watching YouTube for a while, and so I knew that was exactly what would be, perfect for this time off. So my situation is pretty similar, but it's different in kind of in a few ways. So my boyfriend is also very to himself. He's not really with the social media thing. He doesn't even have an Instagram. He has a Twitter that he rarely goes on. So he's very to himself, so he's not used to being in front of a camera at all. So that's going to be something new to our relationship, trying to see if he will incorporate into my videos. But also he plays football, so according to the NCAA rules, they're not allowed to have their own channel. So he can, I guess, star in my video, he can make appearances, but we can never do a couples channel or anything like that. And I think he likes the fact that that is in place. He's more of a supporter in the background.
So, Jasmine, did you started doing the YouTube because of Miss Brittany?
So Brittany has definitely been one of my inspirations. I've been watching Brittany for a year now. It's probably been a year. And so she's been helping me go through all the ropes to start my YouTube channel. So she's been an inspiration and been very helpful during the process.
I've been watching her for 2 days. And I've learned a lot too.
Right.
I'm serious, 2 days. I got some insight over here.